Welcome, beloved listener. As the last story fades from memory, Abraham's faith still echoes through the night. His trust, his obedience, his unwavering hope in the promise of God. Tonight, we continue that promise from the mountain of testing to the quiet valleys of fulfillment, from a father's surrender to a son's birth and a lineage that carries the light of God's covenant forward. You are invited once more to rest in the Word, to breathe deeply, and to let the stories of Genesis wash gently over your heart. The world around you may still be moving, but here, everything slows. Each word, each breath, becomes a pathway to peace. Close your eyes. Let your thoughts drift like leaves on a slow river, and feel the stillness settle within. This is not just a story of the past. It is the living breath of faith, flowing from generation to generation. A covenant of love that reaches even now into your own heart. As we open this new chapter, we walk beside Isaac, the child of promise. We see how the faith of one man becomes the foundation for many, and through each life, each trial, God's hand remains gentle, present, unchanging. So tonight, let your soul settle into the rhythm of Scripture, the whisper of peace beneath the surface of every word. And as we journey from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob and beyond, may your heart find rest and your spirit remember that every promise God makes, He keeps. The story continues. From the mountain where Abraham proved his faith to the quiet plains where joy would soon be born. Years had passed since God's promise first echoed in Abraham's heart. Sarah had grown old. Her laughter had turned from doubt to wonder. And now, the long-awaited moment arrived. In the stillness of dawn, a cry broke through the tent. A child had been born. Isaac, the son of promise. Abraham held him close, his weathered hands trembling with gratitude. Tears of joy fell upon the child's face as the weight of years lifted from his heart. God had kept his word. Every delay, every trial, every tear had led to this moment. When Sarah looked upon her son, she whispered, "God has brought me laughter, and all who hear will laugh with me." Her joy filled the air like the first light of morning. In that laughter, there was healing. In that child, there was promise. And in their home, the quiet hum of faith fulfilled. As Isaac grew, he became a symbol of God's mercy. Through him, the covenant would continue. Through him, generations would remember that nothing is too hard for the Lord. Take a breath now. Let that truth rest within you. Every promise God makes, He keeps. Not always when we expect, but always in His perfect time. As you breathe, think of the promises spoken over your own life, the ones that seem far away or forgotten. Let faith whisper to you that God's timing is never late. Years passed, and Isaac grew strong. Guided by his father's faith, he learned the ways of peace, the songs of the desert, and the quiet strength that comes from trusting God completely. When Abraham's days drew near their end, he called upon his servant to find a wife for Isaac, not from the foreign lands around them, but from among his own people. And once more, God's hand moved gently in the story. The servant prayed by a well, asking for a sign, for God's guidance. Before he had finished speaking, Rebekah appeared, kind, generous, filled with quiet grace. She offered water freely, not only for the servant, but for every camel he had brought. A simple act of compassion that opened the path to destiny. When Isaac saw her approaching through the field, his heart stilled. He lifted his eyes, and love took root in a single glance. They were joined, and together they carried forward the covenant of promise. Through their faith, the story of God's mercy continued to unfold. As the night falls around you, let their story remind you that love, patience, and trust are not forgotten in the heart of God. Even now, He is working quietly in the unseen places of your life, bringing His promises to pass. Rest in that truth and let peace settle over you." Isaac's life unfolded under the same promise that blessed his father. He planted where others saw only dry earth, and the ground yielded more than he could have imagined. His flocks multiplied, his wells overflowed, and the whispers of envy began to rise around him. The Philistines filled his wells with sand, and Abimelech the king said to him, "Go from us, for you have become too powerful." So Isaac left, not in anger, not in pride, but in quiet obedience. He settled in the valley of Gerar and began again. One by one, he reopened the wells his father had dug. He named them as Abraham had named them, honoring what came before. But each time his servants found water, the herdsmen of the valley quarreled with him. "This water is ours," they said. And so Isaac moved on, digging another well, leaving peace behind. He called the first well Esek, which means dispute. The second he called Sitna, which means opposition. But when he dug the third well, no one quarreled over it. He called it Rehoboth and said, "Now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land." Pause for a breath here. Let peace fill your chest. Think of the places where you've faced resistance. And remember, not every battle needs to be fought. Sometimes, the greatest strength is found in stillness. Sometimes, walking away is how we let God make room for us. Isaac moved from that valley to Beersheba, and that night, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and increase your descendants for the sake of my promise." Isaac built an altar there and worshipped. He pitched his tent nearby, and his servants began to dig another well. The next morning, Abimelech came to visit him. His heart had been stirred by what he'd seen. He said, "We clearly see that the Lord is with you. Let there be peace between us." And Isaac prepared a feast. They ate, they drank, and they made a covenant of peace. When morning came, they departed in friendship, And soon after, Isaac's servants came running. "We have found water," they said. He called that well Sheba, and from it the city of Beersheba was named, the well of oath, the well of promise. Rest here for a moment. Breathe slowly. Let the story remind you that peace is not weakness. It is faith expressed through gentleness. God blesses those who sow peace. Even when the world quarrels, He makes room for the humble. As night deepens around you, imagine the sound of water rising from the earth. Cool, steady, alive with promise. That same peace waits for you now. Time moved on, and Isaac's household began to grow. Rebekah gave birth to twin sons. Esau first, strong and ruddy, then Jacob, quiet, holding his brother's heel. Even before they spoke a word, their lives were shaped by purpose. Two nations, two paths, both watched over by the same God. Esau loved the open fields, the sound of wind across the hills. Jacob stayed close to the tents, listening, waiting, learning. One evening, Esau came home weary from the hunt. The scent of lentil stew drifted through the camp. He said to Jacob, "Let me have some of that red stew, for I am faint." Jacob looked up quietly. "Sell me your birthright." Esau laughed, tired and careless. "What good is my birthright if I die of hunger?" And so, for a simple meal, he traded what was sacred for what was easy. Pause for a moment here. Let that settle. How often do we trade what lasts for what only satisfies the moment? Days turned into years. Isaac grew old and his eyes dimmed. He called for Esau to bless him before death. "Go, hunt game for me. Prepare the meal I love, that my soul may bless you." Rebekah heard these words. Her heart stirred with the memory of God's promise that the older would serve the younger. She called Jacob to her side. "Do as I tell you," she whispered. "Bring 2 young goats. I will prepare them as your father loves." Jacob hesitated. "What if he touches me and knows?" But Rebekah said, "Let the curse fall on me." So Jacob went in, wearing Esau's clothes. The smell of the field clung to him. Goat skins wrapped his hands and neck. He stood before Isaac, trembling. "My father." Isaac's voice answered softly, "Who are you, my son?" Jacob's throat tightened. "I am Esau, your firstborn." The old man leaned forward, touching the hands before him. The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's. He ate, he drank, and then laid his hand upon Jacob's head. "May God give you the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth. May nations serve you, and may your brothers bow before you." The blessing was spoken. Destiny had shifted. And though deception played its part, God's promise moved as it always had, through human frailty toward divine purpose. When Esau returned and learned what had happened, his cry filled the camp. "My father, bless me too." But Isaac trembled. "I have blessed him, and he shall be blessed." Esau's anger burned. He vowed to kill his brother, and Jacob fled into the wilderness, a wanderer with a heavy heart. Breathe slowly now. This story reminds us that even in our mistakes, God still weaves redemption. What feels like failure can become the path to transformation. Every step Jacob takes from here, God will meet him, not with punishment, but with promise renewed. Let that truth rest in you. Where you've stumbled, grace is already waiting. Jacob wandered through the desert, the sun sinking low behind the hills. Each step carried the weight of what he'd done. Each breath, a reminder of what he'd lost. The road stretched endlessly before him. No home, no safety, only the soft hum of wind and dust. As night fell, he found a stone and placed it beneath his head. He laid down, gazing up at a sky woven with stars, the same stars his grandfather once counted. When God promised a nation through his seed, Jacob closed his eyes, and in that stillness, the heavens opened. he saw a ladder reaching from earth to heaven, angels ascending and descending upon it. Their movements were silent, like waves of light rolling through eternity. Above it stood the Lord, and he said, I am the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and your descendants. Jacob's heart trembled. The voice continued, Your offspring shall be as the dust of the earth, and through you all nations shall be blessed. Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go. He woke suddenly, the desert still around him, the stone still at his side, but everything within him had changed. He whispered, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. Fear and wonder mingled in his chest. He rose before the dawn and took the stone he had slept upon. He set it upright and poured oil over it. This place, he said softly, shall be called Bethel, House of God, a sacred meeting between heaven and earth. Then Jacob vowed, If God will be with me and guard me on this journey, then the Lord shall be my God. He stood there a while, listening to the wind drift through the stones, the faint rustle of life around him. Even in the emptiness, he was no longer alone. Take a moment now and breathe deeply. There are moments when your world feels silent, and yet God is nearer than you know. Like Jacob, you may not see the ladder, but its presence connects heaven to your heart. Every prayer, every sigh is heard. Rest in that assurance. You are not wandering unseen. You are held, guided, loved. Morning light rose over the hills of the east, and Jacob continued his journey. He came to a well in the open field, where shepherds rested with their flocks. As he spoke with them, a young woman approached. Rachel, daughter of Laban, the very family he had sought. When Jacob saw her, his heart lifted. He rolled away the stone from the well and watered her flock with care. He wept as he told her who he was, a son of Rebekah, and Rachel ran to tell her father. Laban welcomed him, embraced him as kin, and Jacob stayed to work. He loved Rachel deeply and promised 7 years of labor for her hand. Those years passed like days. Each sunrise brought new strength. Each evening, the quiet hope of love. But when the wedding feast ended, Jacob discovered deceit. It was not Rachel beside him, but Leah. His heart sank, but Laban only smiled and said, "It is not our custom to give the younger before the elder. Work another 7 years, and you may have Rachel also." And Jacob did. He worked again, enduring what seemed unfair, choosing faithfulness over bitterness. Pause for a moment here. Think of the times you have waited longer than you wished, the seasons where promise felt delayed. God was shaping Jacob in the silence, through patience, through service, through unseen grace. As the years unfolded, Jacob's household grew, flocks multiplied, children were born, and still his eyes longed for home. Laban changed his wages again and again, but every scheme turned into blessing. God's hand remained steady, unseen, faithful. One night, in a dream, God spoke to Jacob once more. "Return to the land of your fathers, and I will be with you." Before dawn, Jacob rose quietly. He gathered his family, his flocks, his herds. They set out beneath the sky pale with morning. Behind him lay 20 years of toil. Ahead, the unknown road of reconciliation, yet peace stirred within him. He had learned the strength of surrender. Take a slow breath. Let the lesson rest in you. God's delays are not his denials. In waiting, he forms endurance. In hardship, he shapes compassion. As you breathe out, release the weight of what feels unfinished. Trust that every step, even the hidden ones, moves you toward the promise he has already prepared. The years of waiting had passed, and the voice of God called Jacob home. fear lingered at the edges of his heart, for Esau still lived, and memory still whispered of anger long ago. As he journeyed, Jacob sent messengers ahead with gifts: goats, sheep, camels, all offered in humility. "Tell my brother," he said, "your servant Jacob comes in peace." But the messengers returned with trembling voices. "Esau is coming to meet you with 400 men." Jacob's heart pounded. He divided his family, placing the most precious ones last, and he prayed, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother. I am unworthy of all the kindness you have shown." That night, alone by the river Jabbok, Jacob sent everyone across before him. Only silence remained. And in that silence, a man appeared and wrestled with him until dawn. The struggle was fierce, not of anger, but of the soul. Every fear, every doubt rose and met the strength of heaven. When the man saw that Jacob would not yield, he touched his hip, and it wrenched from its place. Still, Jacob clung to him. "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The voice answered, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he gasped. "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel. For you have wrestled with God and with men, and have prevailed." The first light broke across the river. Jacob limped away, blessed, forever changed. He looked up and saw Esau approaching. The moment had come. He bowed 7 times before his brother, tears welling in his eyes. But Esau ran to meet him. He embraced him, fell upon his neck, and wept. The years of anger melted in that embrace. Forgiveness flowed like living water. 2 brothers, once divided, now held together by grace. Pause here. Let the beauty of that moment rest inside you. Reconciliation is not weakness. It is the miracle of a heart set free. Sometimes we must wrestle before we can release. Sometimes God touches the wound so that healing can truly begin. Jacob called that place Peniel, saying, I have seen God face to face, and my life has been spared. As he walked onward, the sun rose above him. Each step was slower now, but lighter. The limp he carried became a reminder of mercy. Breathe deeply. Let go of what still weighs upon you. Forgiveness does not erase the past. It transforms it. And as you rest in that thought, remember, every wound surrendered to God becomes a place where light enters. Peace returned to the tents of Jacob. The air no longer carried the weight of fear, but the gentle hum of family and promise. The years unfolded slowly, filled with births, laughter, and the rhythm of daily grace. Leah bore sons, Rachel too in time, and soon the camp was alive with children's voices. 12 sons were born to Jacob, each name carrying the echo of God's faithfulness. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Joseph, and Benjamin. Each child a thread in the tapestry of a nation. Each life a reminder that God's promises never fade. Among them, Joseph shone with quiet wonder. His eyes were bright with dreams, his heart tender toward the things of heaven. One night he dreamed of sheaves of wheat bowing before his own. Another night of stars and the moon bending toward him. He told his brothers, and they frowned. Do you intend to reign over us? They said. Jealousy stirred like dust in the wind. But Jacob pondered these things in silence. He had seen God's hand too often to doubt the pattern. He watched his son carefully, knowing that destiny often begins in small, fragile moments. Pause for a breath. Even in your own story, the smallest beginnings may hold the shape of something eternal. Jacob built altars wherever he journeyed. He taught his sons the names of the God of Abraham and Isaac. He told them of angels, of ladders, of promises spoken beneath the stars. And through the nights, the flame of covenant faith burned quietly among them. Though the path ahead would twist and turn, God's plan was already unfolding. What began with one man's faith was now becoming a family, a people, a nation. Take this moment to breathe slowly. Feel the continuity of that same faith running through time, reaching even now into your life. Just as Jacob's line continued through trial and triumph, so God's love continues through every generation. Nothing is forgotten, nothing wasted, nothing lost. Rest in that assurance. The story is still being written, and the author is faithful. The story of faith has flowed from one generation to the next, from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, and onward to the sons who would shape a nation. Each of them walked a different path. Each faced doubt, delay, and grace. And through it all, the same God remained. He was the voice that called Abraham to trust. He was the laughter that filled Sarah's tent. He was the peace that guided Isaac's hands. He was the dream that reached Jacob in the night. And he is the same. Yesterday, today, and forever. As you listen now, let your breathing slow. Feel the quiet rhythm of faith still alive around you. Perhaps tonight you carry your own questions. Perhaps the promise feels distant, or the waiting long. But remember this: God's timing is not bound by hours or seasons. Every delay is preparation. Every silence, a whisper forming in the unseen. When the night feels endless, look to the same sky Abraham once saw. The stars still burn with the memory of promise, each one a reminder that faith is never forgotten. Close your eyes now. Let the stories of Genesis settle softly in your heart. Creation, covenant, faith tested, and faith renewed. In their footsteps, you find your own. Their journey becomes your meditation, their peace, your inheritance. Breathe slowly. Let go of the day. Let stillness cover you like a warm light. The God who watched over them watches over you still. He is near in the quiet. He is faithful in the waiting. He is present even now. Rest in His promise. Rest in His love. Rest in peace. Good night, beloved listener, until we journey again.